Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Happy Monday, September 8th, and I hope everyone got to enjoy NFL season, NFL week one just started this past weekend. So again, hope everyone enjoyed that. And a lot of really good games and some surprises, some upsets, and everything too. So hope everyone was able to enjoy the games. But I have, like I said, got a great guest on the show. So let's get it. All right. Once again, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. It is September 8th. Happy Monday once again. You can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple. We're on YouTube, BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com, BS3 Network Roku channel. You can get all the shows on the network, BS3TVLive.com. You can follow me on all the social media platforms as well. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and TikTok. So I have a great guest here. I've been wanting to get her on for a while, and we finally made it happen. So I'm so excited to bring her on. You've seen her on a lot of different platforms and things like that. Jillian Carroll, your girl's hype girl. This is on her Instagram page bio. Emmy winner, lifestyle anchor, Emcee, sports and shenanigans podcast, KC Current as well. So, Jillian, welcome to the show. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for coming on. Thank you for the time. And I know you've been very busy. And now with football season here, you cover soccer, you cover a lot of different things. And you can say lifestyle and things like that. So I appreciate the time. I really do.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. And it's an honor to be with your show and on your show. So thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for accepting the invite as well. So yeah, let's get right into it. And I always ask my first time guest on the show, who is Jillian Carroll and how did you get into, what you do and things like we'll start with a little quick intro of yourself.
Oh boy, that's tough. No, so my name is Jillian Carroll. I am currently on the broadcast team for the Kansas City Current. We play in the National Women's Soccer League, NWSL. I do play-by-play, I do color commentary, and really kind of any and all things that they need. I also am the host of a women's sports podcast called Sports and Shenanigans. It's where women's sports and pop culture collide. My goal is to elevate women's voices that are in the world of sport and celebrate female athletes, females that work in just the world of sports in general. And those are my main two. I also just am kind of freelance, if you will, host, MC, any sports entertainment activities, events, etc. I love to talk. I love people. I love sports. And when all of those things collide, like that's where you can catch me at the intersection of people, sports, entertainment, women supporting women. I'm there. But yeah, I'm a former Division I soccer player. I played at the University of Northern Iowa. I'm a former NFL cheerleader. I cheered 6 seasons for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I am a family girl. I'm one of 5 kids. We're a military family. My husband means the world to me. He's my everything. And we are newly married. We're just about 3 years.
Right.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Although he is an Eagles fan and I am a Chiefs fan. And so that's tough.
Yeah, I'm sure that was
Um,
tough, especially last year and this past season. But you got him a couple of years. You got
I got him the
a
year
couple.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the year before that.
Um,
Yes.
but yeah, I'm all about family, friends, community, sports, elevating women's sports, and yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, I love that. And A lot to unpack there because, like you said, you do, you do. No, it's great. It's great because it says just shows how all around you are and versatile. And in this type of business, with podcasting, broadcasting, media in general, you have to have those types of skill sets to
Right.
do what you do and things like that too. So I want to get back into from the beginning. You said soccer, and which I read your
Yeah.
bio. Soccer's like you just you breed that you
Yeah.
that's you. Talk about where that love comes from, and you say you have Casey Curran as well that you're doing. So talk about that love of soccer. I know that's a very important. It's very important to you.
Yeah, for sure. Outside of my family, I think
Yeah.
the game of soccer was and is the most impactful thing on who I am as a person. Um, I think I started playing when I was like 3 or 4, and I played every sport imaginable. I played
Right.
tackle football with boys. I literally did everything, but soccer was really like, I think by the time I was in 5th grade, I just knew. I knew that that was my thing. I am a high achiever. I like to do things I'm good at. I'm mature and able to admit that now. And so, yeah, I
Yeah.
quickly fell in love with the game. Really, my parents just put us in every sport. I'm one of 5 kids. I think I said that, but so we were just kind of thrown into all sports, everything,
Right.
whether it been softball, track, volleyball, I was cheer, all the things. But that's where I found the most success, and that's where I found just my place, like that's where I would, go out and train by myself for hours
Right.
because I loved it so much and I wanted to get to the next level. And I was really blessed when I was young to have incredible coaches, also an older brother who was wildly athletic, and so I always had somebody to try to strive and beat.
Mm.
And I never did, I'll say that. But I just always had, like the next level ahead of me or the next challenge coming. So I was really blessed in that way. My parents were incredibly dedicated to keeping us in sports, keeping us busy, growing, all the things. But yeah, I knew it was soccer for me. I got a chance to play I represented my state, I represented my region. There's different situations like Olympic development program and things like that,
Mm.
that essentially funnel into the national teams, which I never had a chance to play for. That would have been very cool. But I was in the circuit when I was young,
Mm.
and yeah, I went to a specific high school here in Kansas City because of their tradition of excellence within the game of soccer. And then I knew, when things were kind of getting realistic, that like, okay, I wanted to go Division 1. That was a goal
Mhm.
for me. We traveled all over the place. I had some of the best teammates, the most competitive teammates. I was really lucky to have a good environment to develop in.
Yeah.
And then I was really blessed. My dad was military, and I was born with an innate desire to do everything I possibly can at the best level. Um, and just always put out my best. So I was very, very grateful for the upbringing and the environment that I came up in, because I think really those are the intangibles that
Mm.
afforded me the opportunities to play, and earn a scholarship and play
Right.
and pay for my own college. And yeah, I love it so much. So had a great time there. When I graduated, I could have gone overseas to play professionally. It just wasn't of interest for me.
Mhm.
And the NWSL, what we know as today, it wasn't established yet. And
From what it is.
so, not to say that I would have made it, but I certainly would have tried.
Yep. Yeah.
But when I came home and graduated, I didn't have an opportunity, so I jumped into coaching.
Mm.
Um, so I went to school to be a teacher. So I was an educator and a
Yep.
coach for a very long time. And I loved it so much. And that was largely due to the adults in my life. My high school soccer coach was my journalistic composition teacher.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
he was a big influence on me, not only academically, but on the pitch as well. So yeah. So when I graduated, I went into education, I went into coaching right away, and just continued to have a passion to be around the game of soccer. And then at that point, that's when it shifted to, I believed that I owed the game and the next generations, I believed that I should pour into those next generations the way that the game molded me and affected my life and impacted me. I knew it was my responsibility to help the next generation of girls experience what I did,
Yeah.
because of the game. So, yeah, I could go on about the relationships that I'm so lucky to have built through the game of soccer, the life experiences. It's just incredible. And today, obviously, so I said I went to school to be an educator and a teacher, and I was for a very long time,
Yeah.
and a coach for a very long time. But I actually pivoted from the world of education into, now this is weird, but into the world of television.
Yeah.
So it was sports broadcast, but initially, but then I got into television, and I continued coaching because I wanted to be around the game, and I wanted
Hmm.
to be around young people. But ever since the my career in television took off, and I'm so grateful. It was incredible. It was a lot of hard work, but it was
Yeah.
incredible. I've stepped aside from local television, and now I'm back in broadcast. And what I've done now is I've kind of blended my two loves. So I work for the soccer team, Casey Current, but I am their broadcaster. And
Right.
so, yeah, I just feel really lucky to be doing what I'm doing because it's kind of all the things I love in one.
I love that. And like I said, it just shows versatility. And as you said, you transition from an athlete to teacher. Also, they said broadcasting. And that just, they said, that just, it just shows communication skills and motivating others in that way. And that's very significant. And to, they said, on air roles and things
Mhm.
like that. So I can see, like, you know, blending those in. How do you approach each role so differently when it comes to, like you said, education and
Yeah.
playing and being around the sports and broadcasting from a sports analysis segment versus us, like, human interest, like stories and things like that? How do you
Yeah.
how do you approach those roles?
Yeah, and that's what I was so lucky because like lifestyle entertainment programming, that's what I
Yeah.
did. I hosted
Right.
two different shows and two different stations, but we really did encompass everything. So we tried to. Our goal
Mhm.
was to hit segments that were about any and everything that you might experience in your community, in your daily life, etc. So we had everything from food, fashion, fitness, those were our F's, but of course people, right? Leaders in the community, nonprofits, anything, and that would include sports. And so
Right.
I was able to kind of keep all of that in one show by just making sure that we were able to address everything that would happen in life. But as far as me, like my approach as far as interviews go, things like that, yeah, it's really important for me if I'm telling the story of an athlete. It's incredibly important for me to do my research and know who this person is
Yeah.
and know their story. And then I positioned myself as really just a tool. I would assist them tell their story. That was
Mm.
always my kind of goal.
Yeah.
So I would make sure that I knew highlights and backstory and all the things, but I made sure that the way I positioned my questions and approached everything, it really was the athlete sharing their own story, which
Mm.
is not always easy because oftentimes people don't want to do that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's okay. But
Yep.
but yeah, so that would be one way I would approach as far as like a sports interest segment. But then something about fitness would be completely different. I would try to be more hands-on and try to put myself in the position that maybe my viewer would take if they're
Mm.
trying a new workout and they don't know how to do this yet. I would try my best to be their stand-in, and I would try to be who they are. So the people watching at home could feel like, okay, like if she's doing it that way, I might do it that way. Or,
Right.
how just to try to be relatable. So
Mhm.
so I guess to answer your question, the prep is really different and
Right.
important. And then like your end goal, like what your goal is. Are you educating and telling, or are you sharing and letting someone share about themselves? So, and I think that's the beauty of lifestyle entertainment television. It's my absolute favorite.
Mhm.
It's just a little bit of everything, and hopefully people thought the same. I don't know.
I would hope so too. And as you said, lifestyle, and it all intertwines anyway.
Yeah.
Lifestyle and sports and entertainment, because sports is entertainment. Entertainment is sports. You have athletes that want to go into entertainment, and then you have entertainers that want to be sports and things like that. People that play that are actors that play sports and
Yeah.
everything like so. It kind of intertwines, and I can see that from just the first 15 minutes of just talking with you why you are called the hype girl, and because you got to uplift and inspire those around you, and it seems that way. So how do you maintain that energy through your audience and your and like people that you work with?
Yeah, no, thank you. First of all, that's very kind of you. I just, I think it goes back to just always being part of a team.
Yeah.
I've been a part of a team since I got here, right? I had
Right,
always
right.
had
Yeah.
older brother, older
Yep.
sister, and then there was five of us, and then, our big old family. I've always been a part of a team. And that's something I also like. I'm so thankful for my parents for providing that for me.
Mhm.
A big family, number one, and always being around a team and fighting for my everything. If you didn't speak up, you never got heard, right? If you
Yeah.
didn't
Yep.
act quickly, you didn't get your dinner because brother took it, whatever.
Mhm.
But I think that between my family, but then also always playing a team sport. I always say I
Mhm.
played every sport under the sun, but I've never been an individual sport athlete.
Mhm.
So I've never
Mhm.
played tennis. I've never danced solo. I've never done anything like that. So to get back to your question, I think it's just in my nature because it's just always been what I've been exposed to. I've always
Right.
been around a grip of people,
Yeah.
whether it
Yeah.
be teammates or, whatever it is. And, I look at this as maybe a good example. I was always part of a team. I was a part of a team since I was young, all the way through college, obviously on my soccer team.
Yep.
And the minute I graduated, there literally was a year where I didn't have teammates, right? Like that was
Mhm.
for the first time since I was like 3. I didn't have a team to go to, quote unquote. I always had my family, obviously, but
Yeah.
um, and so I was a teacher, and that kind of filled that, void, if you will, of the group. But so I
Yeah.
immediately jumped into coaching. And then that wasn't enough for me because I am a competitive person.
Yep.
So then I
Yep.
I immediately jumped into NFL cheerleading, which is probably so wild to some people, but it was everything I needed at that
Mm.
moment. It was a
Yeah.
team of people who are incredibly talented, smart, have everything together, make you want to be better. It was competitive. You had to audition, and hundreds
Right.
of women came out. We were high performance athletes. We trained like we were,
Yeah. Definitely
on the
athletes.
field
Yeah.
every
Hmm.
Sunday. So that environment for me was incredibly impactful. Just iron sharpens iron, right? Like that
Yes.
saying. Like
Yep.
that's the best way that I could describe my time as an NFL cheerleader, because I was around 32 other women, that were polished, talented, driven,
Hmm.
incredible people. And so to answer your initial question, that's all I know. All I know is being around people that want to uplift you, and all I know is uplifting others. And
Hmm.
so, again, it comes back to sports for me.
Yep.
It's just that environment. You learn very early that you're part of something bigger than yourself. And so it's whatever your teammates need. Do they need a kick in the butt? Do they need an extra talk after the game? Do they need who knows what it is, but that's your job as a teammate. And
Yeah.
so I think that's just why I played sports for so long, and why I played through college and then 6 years post college as an NFL
Hmm.
cheerleader, because I love it. I love that environment. I love being part of a team. And even I think in my professional career, I bring that same, like, we're in it together, it's game time, like we're going,
Yeah. Yes.
I don't think I could shed that, nor would I want to. But yeah, so I appreciate that the way others pour into me, and I feel obligated to do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just who I am, I guess.
No, that's I mean, you never change. So it's just that's always a good thing. If you have that positive energy, as you said, you like people pour that into you. So you say, I'm just going to reciprocate and pour it to to others, wherever you're working and whoever you're working with.
Yeah.
You said a broadcast team or behind the scenes, something, but you said started with family, which I really, I like that too. Cause I feel the same way. It starts with family. That's your team.
Yeah.
That's your first team, your family. And then, you said, then you move on to other things, high school, and you said with you it was playing soccer and then
Mhm.
coaching and cheerleading and even teaching as well. So you just always been around around people. And he said, I think we're all competitive in some form, in some way. And I think for like me, for you and for myself, yes, we like competition, and
Yes.
but you said the cheerleading was competition too, and
Yeah.
my wife, she loves watching the I tried it because we're Eagles fans, but she likes the Dallas Cowgirls show. So I always
Yeah.
say, why are you watching that or whatever? But she's been watching it for years, and so I don't have no issue with that. But it's just it's a rivalry. I pick at her about it, but it's but I see that competition, and you said, but when they make the team and you guys come together, it's you says iron sharpens iron. It's that whole thing, and it makes you better. It makes the team better. Just even though you're in competition, you're still trying to give the other person a lot of respect and give them props for doing something well and everything too. But you always come together as a team.
Yeah, for sure. And all I would say all 30, well, there's not an NFL squad for every NFL team, but
Yeah,
all the squads, just like the teams, are
yeah,
slightly different in their own way. And
right.
so yeah, I'm sure that parts of what is shown on that show, I've actually never seen it before, but that's okay.
Mhm.
But I'm
You
sure
lived it. No, you've
yeah.
been there. You know what it takes. Yes,
Yeah,
you've
and
done
I'm
it.
sure
Yes.
that there are some similarities. I'm sure that there are
Mhm.
some differences.
Right.
But at the end of the day, any professional level, and we all know the NFL is one of the most powerful leagues,
Yeah.
probably for
Yes.
sure in the United States, probably in the world.
Mhm.
So anything done at that level, yeah, it's going to be cutthroat. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be as professional as they get. So yeah, I can't. I mean, I did it for 6 years of my life, so I can't. I hope that speaks volumes as to how much it meant to me and impacted me. And I just have to say that I was on the squad before we were winning Super Bowls, unfortunately. So
Yeah, you're
the
right.
loyalty is there.
Yeah, the loyalty's there. I mean, you're a Chiefs fan. You've worked with them and everything. So yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. That yes,
yeah.
you are part of their Super Bowl team as well. So so no doubt about that. So all right, let's get into your podcast, Sports and Shenanigans,
Yeah.
because got the SHE, as you said, where women's sports and pop culture could collide.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about launching it, when you launched it, and I've watched some episodes too. I love it, love the show
Thanks.
as well for sure. And I always watch a lot of different podcasts and because I just love the storytelling of it and
Mhm.
of the guest and how you said how you do questions and things like that. I try to take pieces of a lot of different things from a lot of different podcasts. So try to be a better interviewer each and every time. So but yeah, talk about the podcast, what it's about, and what will people get when they listen to
Yeah, well, first, thanks for listening. I appreciate
it. Yeah.
that. So I said this before, but I spent a long time on local television
Hmm.
and loved it very much. But I stepped away last summer, and there were a lot of kind of moving parts as to why. Mostly, and you probably are privy to this as well, but people are just consuming their media in so many different ways
Yeah.
in today's world,
Yep.
and sitting at home watching a TV show live is just something that is not done any longer,
Hmm.
unless it's
Yeah.
sports, right? Unless it's a game.
Right. Right.
And so it's not that, yeah, so I decided to make the jump. And I left over the summer. I didn't launch my podcast until February because I'll be so honest, like I just wasn't confident in it. I was
Mm.
so unsure. It was different from what I knew and loved. And what to my point earlier, I had always been part of a team. I needed a team of people around me.
Yeah,
And
right, right.
and and my podcast, I operate essentially by myself. I'm very lucky. I have an incredible producer, Nick Springer, shout him out. But
Nick
by and
Springer, shout
large,
out.
yeah,
Yes.
it's just me. And so that was a hurdle for me. That was an
Right.
uncomfortable new challenge for myself. But once I finally got myself together and did all my branding, I started talking about it to certain people here and there, and they were like, "Do it! What are you waiting for? Oh
Yep.
my gosh, I will help you!" Like whatever. So I was really lucky to have an incredible friend help me with branding, and another groups of friends helped me with kind of like photo shoots to kind of launch. And I had my eyes set on an important day, and it's National Girls and Women in Sports Day. And so it's typically the first Thursday of February. Um, and so I launched on that day, and I was very blessed to have an incredible interview to launch the podcast. I had Sophie Cunningham on
Mm,
the
yeah.
Indiana Fever,
Yep.
and it was wild timing, Courtney. Like it was just a God thing, I swear, because she happened to be in Kansas City for a women in sports luncheon. Caitlin Clark was the keynote speaker, and she was here not because she was a Fever player just yet, because she was still with Phoenix at the time, but
Mm,
she was in Kansas City because she's actually from Columbia, Missouri, played at Mizzou. And so the local ties brought her here to speak the night before Caitlin
okay.
spoke.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you all these things because it was just like all the reasons in the world why I needed to do it. Right. And so
Yeah.
I was really blessed. So she agreed to be on my show. And the few days before, I think it was, I don't know, 2 or 3 days before, the announcement came out that she was traded to Indiana Fever.
Mm.
And so it
Yeah.
was wild. It was,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was, and you know very well that your content is going to dictate the success of your show.
Yes.
And I was
Yep.
very lucky to have an incredible first guest, Sophie Cunningham. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And crazy content to talk about, because we got to talk about her recent trade. And then Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in women's basketball at that time in that moment.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, so it just worked out on my behalf. And it was one of those, like, I'm so grateful. And so we launched, and her interview was so good. Please go
Hmm.
watch it if you
Yes.
haven't.
Go watch it, please. Yes. Subscribe. All those things. Yeah.
She was so honest, and again, I was very, very lucky that she was available to me and was so honest. I think we chatted for over 30 minutes, and she was just awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
That's good.
So yeah, and so now moving forward, I have everyone from, athletes, obviously. I have coaches, I've had front office workers. My recent episode last week was a woman named Chioma Atonmo. She works in MLS, Major League Soccer. She has a wild story. She is probably one of the fiercest women I know, who is just killing it. She works
Yeah.
for Sporting Kansas City. She's director of community culture impact, and then also their philanthropic arm. But she has a wild story. She's from Nigeria. She came to the States. Her father was unfortunately sent back home to Nigeria. She grew up with her mother, and she's one of six siblings. And she shared her story about how that was the beginning of her life. And then through sports, she's just become this incredibly successful woman that
Wow.
impacts her community and has such a bright future. She's wild. Yeah, and then tomorrow I think I have on a girl named Liv West. She's so cool, Olivia or Liv. She is actually a WNBA and NBA host or game MC.
Yep.
So she's gonna come on and talk about, her role in the game days for the
Yeah.
Fever and for the Pacers. She's
Yep.
super cool.
Yeah. I seen her on LinkedIn and some other
Yeah,
platforms
she's
too. Yeah. Yeah.
fantastic.
Hmm.
We got to meet because I also do some work as a like sports entertainment content creator influencer, and I was brought out to the Pro Volleyball Federation's All Star
Okay.
weekend,
Yeah.
and it was super cool to meet those women. They are baddies, dude. And then
I bet.
they're incredible. And so I met Liv there. But yeah, I just try to make sure that We could get into statistics about the media and what percentage is given to men's sports and what percentage covers women's sports, but I'm not one to sit around and like whine about stuff. I would rather do what I can be doing to help the cause. And
Yes,
so
I love that.
I know I'm just a little tiny podcast, but if it's another outlet shining the light on women's sports and women in the world of sports, I'm here for it. And athletes, including Sophie Cunningham herself and some other NWSL players, they have actually said like, we need more people like you. We need more
Hmm.
women who are one or whoever who are going to focus on the women's games. So, yeah, it's just been cool. I'll tell you, it's tough. It is hard to kind of not have a team to lean on and not have a ton of people to throw creative ideas around to. And
Right. Yep.
um,
Mhm.
but I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really lucky. I have a supportive husband who is constantly asking me about it and constantly sharing my content. He's wonderful.
Yep.
Um, and so it's a work in progress. But yeah, it's up and running, and we're a handful of months in now. I can't believe it's even September already, to be honest with you.
Right. It's gone so fast this year.
but but yeah, so thanks for letting me chat about that. Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
all streaming platforms just like yourself, on YouTube, and then I try to do some social on Instagram as well.
Yeah, we got a lot. I mean, just listen to your story. We got a lot of similarities when it comes to the podcast. I can very relate to just being, you said, by yourself. I've been doing the podcast I've been doing podcasts for almost 10 years.
Oh wow.
And, but I've taken breaks. I've taken one long break before
Yeah.
for a year, just got burnt out, was just trying to put
Yeah.
too much content out and
Yeah.
everything too. And I was thinking, I took the year off, got on a new network, been on the same network now for the last 6 years now, since
Nice.
2019.
Yeah.
So, and as you know, like you said, booking guests, and I have I'm my own producer, and then I
Yeah.
do all my own, sharing the content and everything too. But I'm like, just like you said, my wife is a big, huge, my main supporter,
Aw.
and she traveled with me when we went to Super Bowl 2 years ago when I was on Media Row. We did that, and she's always sharing and always pushing me to, we should do this, should do that. So I can totally relate of everything that you're saying. That yeah, sometimes I do wish I had a team, but then I do like to have that control too. That I like reaching out to guests. Like I said, I reach out to you directly and
Right.
say, hey, can you get you on the show and everything too. How hard is it? Like you said, you've had a lot of great guests too. How
Mhm.
hard is it for you? Or how do you reach out to your guests? Like, do you do it
Yeah.
on social media, in person, things like that? Like, how hard is that? Because I always love to hear that from other podcasters,
Yeah.
that have that. How do they reach out to guests?
Yeah, I think that's such a valid question and
Mhm.
valid like it's just a challenge that we all have.
Yeah,
But so
yeah,
I'm super grateful. I have worked in NFL, I've worked in MLS. I did a year with
yeah.
Sporting Kansas City and then obviously with NWSL. So it's for me it's about like my relationships and who do I know and my
Right.
contacts. So I've had people like a girlfriend that I never worked with her at Chiefs, but she's at Chiefs now and I was there before, and she sent me a wonderful guest. She was like, hey, I know this girl, Simone Roberts. She's an up and coming reporter, anchor. Like, I think she'd be a good guest. And I was like, whoa, thanks so much. Like, bam, sent me
Yeah.
your phone number. Other times I've been, you know, I lean on who I know. And so, for example, NWSL Media Day, I was able to make the trip out to LA. And at that media day, I was able to connect with a lot of the PR and communications
Yeah.
VPs and or managers for teams. And so, reaching out to them saying like, "Hey, I'm going to be bugging you. I'd love to share the story of some of your athletes.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to email you. Be on the lookout." And most times it's they follow up and they're like, "Hey, we can't do it this week, but hit me up next week," or whatever. Or sometimes like I've had a group come back and been like, she's just not interested. Like, sorry. And I'm like, dang, okay, but I get it. And you
Yeah.
and you move on.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, I will say, like, I do utilize social media very much. Like, I don't know if it's another female who has a history with athletics and whatever and sports, and I don't know if that helps. I think it does. I think I'm
Yeah.
relatable to a lot of these
Yeah.
professional athletes, and so DMing has worked a lot for me, like just cold DMs. And yeah, I will say I'm struggling to break into WNBA like on the regular. Like I had Sophie
Mm,
Cunningham, I was so lucky and grateful.
yes. Yep.
But yeah, I don't get it because their schedule is so busy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I haven't had a good luck with those PR communications people. Like send emails, but I don't get answers, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and then college athletes as well, depending on the school, if their comms team is on it. Oh, I had the coolest athlete on. She was a gymnast. Um, and I reached right out to their comms team and they got back to me immediately. And it was like the easiest thing, so it just depends.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say relationships number one, social media I lean heavily on, and then a lot of like emails, just bam, bam, bam. I try to
Yeah.
send like 3 to 5 a week per league.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Yes.
and yeah, so and then you try I personally I try to stay relevant, so it just depends on what season it is and who's busy, and um it's tough though. It's tough. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that.
Yes, it can definitely be, and I've learned too. Um, Even if you say if you get a complete no or anything
Yeah,
like that, I've learned over the years I don't take it personal, and
right.
I just move on and say like you said, you got you hey move on. It just didn't work out. I don't
Yeah,
take it personal. Move on to the next because you're gonna get more yeses than you will get yeses than no. Because a lot of
yeah,
people are interested in just want to know what your podcast about or anything like that. But I can totally again we're very relatable because I can totally
yeah.
relate with especially with the WNBA,
Yeah,
and I've done a lot of media things for them, but not consistent
yeah.
and everything. Like I've done some of their Zoom thing. I did that for the last 2 years. Got to go to the draft three
Oh,
years ago.
nice.
It was the year before Caitlin Clark. Their
Okay.
class. It was right before. So once I got the opportunity, I thought, okay, I could maybe get on, but things have changed. I know, like you said, it's the WNBA now is much bigger, and they have their core media. I
Yeah,
definitely can tell, but I
yeah,
reached out and didn't get any answers either. It's like, hey, what can I do? I'm always pushing your content and things like that, and I've been on a lot of Zooms and everything too, but haven't heard anything back. So it's yeah, it could be tough for sure.
yeah,
I agree, but Unrivals is a good one though.
yeah.
Their communications is really they get back to you and everything too. So I'm hopefully I can do something with them for the second year too. So
Yeah, and they're just exciting league in
yeah,
general.
yeah,
So
they are
I
for
can't
sure.
wait for that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, we could talk podcast things for a long time. What worked, what doesn't, and things like that. But I'm glad you did it because that was on like some type of advice. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
People always ask, just do it. You said that earlier. You said you weren't sure, but you just did it, and now here you are with your podcast. So, congrats on the success of it as well. So, all right, just got a couple more. Probably let you go. I've loved hearing your story and everything too. You are an Emmy Award winner as well. Congratulations. Talk
Thank
about
you.
being an Emmy Award winning host and how that all came about.
Thank you, first of all. Yeah, not something I ever would have imagined,
Right.
and I'm very, very grateful.
Hmm.
It was a cool situation. It was a special project, so I think the category is like, yeah, I just think it's actually just special projects. And so we just put on a 30-minute program, and I was able to host, and it was a little bit of background about Chiefs cheerleaders, actually. And
Okay. Yeah.
so another opportunity for myself to blend my loves, right?
Hmm.
It was cheer and the Chiefs organization, and then TV and telling this incredible story. It was, I would say, like documentary style. So that was cool. And I got to work
Yeah.
with an incredible production team. The Chiefs have their own in house production team. It's called 65 TPT, which stands for 65 Toss Power Trap. Some trivia: it was a play that helped Kansas City win their first ever Super Bowl. So if you're ever at NFL games, Chiefs games, and you see 65 TPT, that's what that is.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome. I had a chance to do a lot of the writing. And then obviously as a host, you deliver everything. And it was incredible. And I was shocked and uh, stunned, to be honest, that we won. And I wasn't even really sure that they submitted, to be honest. And so then when they came back and they're like, by the way, here's your first Emmy, I was like, what? So it was very cool. And again, the
Yeah.
team I worked with was amazing.
Mhm.
The content was something I knew very well. I think I probably gave it like a inside baseball perspective, right?
Okay. Yeah.
um yeah, and it was really fun. And we've been nominated a couple times since, haven't won anything since, but that's all right. I'm
You
very
you
grateful.
do got one. You got
Yeah.
the one. And to put that on your resume is like Emmy Award winner, Jillian. Yeah, no. So yes, Jillian, like yeah, Carroll's like, yes. I'm sure that was like a very that's a huge that is a big thing for sure. And again, congratulations on that because
Thanks.
uh I don't get to talk to a lot of Emmy Award winning, but yes, so I'm grateful to, like I said, to talk to you about that as well. But got to talk some Kansas City Chiefs before I let you go. Like you said, Chiefs this season started 0-1, but they're dealing with some injuries, suspensions. What'd you think of their for one their week one performance against the Chargers,
Yeah.
and any concerns with this? I know I always say week one, it's always overreaction week one
Yes.
and everything too. They were playing in Brazil, they were playing
Yeah.
overseas, so that could have been a factor and everything too. But it just from my perspective too, it just seems like Patrick Mahomes has to be magical. And
Yeah.
and I know yes, he still has it and everything too. You never doubt him. But
Right.
now I know he wants to. Now you said have that the team come together. I mean, at the end they'll probably be in the Super Bowl again. But any concerns from your perspective of the Chiefs in their start this season?
Yeah, just to be very honest, it didn't look like the Chiefs we know on
Hmm.
opening week.
Yeah,
That's just flat out. But when you think back to last year, we had a very similar situation. Unfortunately, it was Patrick Mahomes that knocked into the knee of his teammate, and his name is escaping me at the moment. So he was out for the season last year.
yeah,
And then this year, Kelsey unfortunately collides with Xavier Worthy, and now he has a shoulder injury. So like,
yeah,
what? That's a
yep,
little like a little, everyone's a little frazzled right now trying to understand. And then Rishi Rice, of course, is going to be out for 5 more weeks, 5 more
yep,
games. And so, yeah, I mean, there's definitely like, oh crap, where's our offense? But then you think about, the guy who takes the snaps, and you have a lot of confidence in obviously in Mahomes. And so I think it was just not a performance that was very characteristic of the Chiefs. If anybody watched training camp or preseason, like they showed signs and flashes of just some very prepared play.
yeah,
And then I think that just didn't translate to week one. So there were moments where I feel like Mahomes had to put on his Superman cape and do what
yep.
he does. You saw the throw where he's inches off the ground and still is able to
T-
find his receiver.
Typical Patrick Mahomes. Yes.
I don't get it, but nobody does. And
Yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and try to understand it. But so yeah, so it was disappointing. And then
yeah.
obviously there was a little bit of miscommunication between Chris Jones on the last play. Did he do his job? Did he go for the
Mm,
sack? That's tough. So I just don't think it was like typical Chiefs week one.
right.
So maybe we're saving it for Eagles at home. I'll take that.
I hope not, but
But
yes.
but yeah, definitely
Yeah,
looking forward to the season getting started. Hopeful, hoping for the best in regard to Worthy's shoulder.
yeah,
But the team has a lot to prove after that Super Bowl performance or lack thereof. So
yeah.
yeah, so I think this season, I mean, I'm thrilled. So excited football's back. I mean, our
Yes.
women's soccer team in Kansas City, I do just have to throw this out there.
Yeah, for
Kansas City
sure.
Current, they are top of the table. They have been for 12 straight weeks.
Yep.
They are killing it. So Kansas Cityans have one team that is absolutely on fire. So we're loving that at the moment, and we're excited because the Royals are kind of Hot and cold all the time, which is fine. But we're excited for our Chiefs to get back in the win column as well.
Yeah, they will, and you guys have been spoiled in Kansas
Yes,
City.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but no, but I think with this season, like I said, there was just some concerns, like I said, with especially where she Rice being
yeah,
suspended, and now you said now Xavier Worthy could be out for a little bit, and depending on how severity of that shoulder injury is, Travis Kelsey probably his last year or two. And it just, they still got Patrick Mahomes, still got Andy Reid.
yeah,
And the offensive line was is a concern and things like that. But at the end, I've never they've become one of those teams where you just say, okay, even if they start 0-2, 0-3, not concerning until it's like very alarming if they're like 1-7, 1-8, or something like that, which I don't see at all. As long as they got that man, like I said, taking those snaps, uh, they're always in it, and I think the defense will be fine. It was just it says a weird week one.
yeah.
It is week one for some. It's like this is their first preseason, because a lot of starters don't play in the preseason anyway,
Right,
so
right.
it's a lot of rust and everything. And they're playing the AFC West. They were playing their division rival in AFC West, so it's
Yeah.
always a toss up with those types of those games anyway in your within your division. So I think the Chiefs will be fine. I just hope they don't win next week for my sake, but as the Eagles fan. But no, I'm hoping I think it's gonna still be a good competitive game for sure.
Yeah, I do think Herbert played one of his best games
Yes,
so
yes, he
for the
did.
Chargers. So I think there's that too. But yeah, who knows? I think they're just trying to save their win, if you will, for the Eagles when they come this weekend. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yes, I'm sure. Like I said, we before we start recording, we were talking about angry Kansas City Chiefs, angry Patrick Mahomes. I don't want the Eagles to play that, but I'm looking forward to the game for sure. And it's
Yeah, for
Super
sure.
Bowl Super Bowl rematch. Why not? Yeah,
Yeah.
why not? So, all right, last question before I let you go. I thank you for giving me so much time. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. The for aspiring broadcasters or podcasters or whoever want to get into this business of
Mhm.
media, and like I said, you've done it for a long time and everything too, or they want to make or you want to make a career change or anything like that. What piece of advice kind of did a little bit, but what other advice would you give someone who wants to get into a lifestyle, do start a lifestyle podcast or anything like that. And
Yeah.
but what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I was a very atypical journey, right? I was an educator for a
Yeah.
very long time before I got in. So what I learned is for anybody who knows they want to do it, learn all of the jobs.
Hmm.
Learn behind the camera, in front of the camera, learn editing, learn storytelling and writing, learn how to, contact guests and book them. Like learn all the things. Don't be one dimensional. In today's
Yeah.
world, the talent that's coming out of colleges and the talent in general are so multifaceted, so dynamic. And that's the expectation these days that you can do
Yeah.
it all. And so I would say don't pigeonhole yourself into one specific role, do it all. And actually for myself, because I did that. I was
Yeah.
an on air. I was on camera. I could deliver. I could interview. You know, whatever you need me to do on camera, bam, like consider it done. But I didn't know the other roles. The minute that I started learning the other roles, I got even better in front of the camera because I
Mm-hmm.
understood more. I understood, when there was going to be B-roll over so I could do whatever I needed to do. All the
Yeah.
intricacies, excuse me, of broadcast. And then the other piece, I think in today's world, kids or whoever, if it's young people, if it's not, something that they have that we didn't per se is they have phones. They have an
Yeah.
entire media outlet network in their hand. You could do this. I have kids that reach out to me all the time and come shadow me at Casey Current games. And I tell them, start another Instagram page, start a YouTube page that's just your media coverage. Just
Right.
start.
Yep.
Just do it, start building it because the more you do it, that's practice and reps right there. And put it somewhere. That's your body of work. You're going to watch your growth over the time,
Yep. Hmm.
and then you can start building your network. You can start asking for people to join, and then that's how you grow and expand. So I would just say learn all the roles. Don't pigeonhole yourself into one. The expectation today is that you can do it all. And then just start,
Yeah, just do
right?
it.
Like
Yep.
just do it, jump in. I didn't feel ready. I think that no one's truly ready. I don't even know if I'm ready now, right?
Right.
But I've been doing it
Right.
for
Yeah.
6 months. So um yeah, and then I think that also it's like don't compare yourself. Learn
Mm,
from others, watch others, and see like, wow, I appreciate how she told the story of this coach. Learn from others, but don't compare. Like your superpower is that you are you. You're gonna address things differently. You're gonna tell stories differently. So learn from others, be inspired by others, but don't try to be others, and
mm.
don't try to evaluate yourself based off what they're doing.
Yeah, you'll drive yourself nuts if you,
Oh
if
my
you
gosh.
try
You'll
to.
never, yeah, you'll never be happy. You'll never,
Nope.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. That's really good advice. I appreciate that. And he said, any broadcaster, podcasters, like we said, just do it. Like, reach out. There's social media, as you said. When we were growing up, there was no social media. There was
Right.
so use that tool for the good.
Yeah.
Use the platforms that you have, because there's so much platforms that you can reach out to people and network. As you said, that's very important. Networking,
Mhm.
knowing people in this space where you can really grow your in what you want to do, and continue to keep growing. And like I said, watch and ask and evaluate all those things. So I like that
Mhm.
advice. So Jillian, thank you for such a great conversation. I really
Yeah.
appreciate this time. I appreciate you what you do, and so many blessings to you moving forward as well. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the time. But let everyone know where they can follow you and all the things you got going on, and if they can catch you. But no, but busy is great. Busy is always good. But let
Yeah.
them know where they can follow you on social media or reach out to you as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. So please follow my podcast if you don't
Yes.
mind. If you are a podcast listener, we are on all the streaming platforms, as mentioned, Apple, Spotify, all the places. It's just called Sports and Shenanigans with Jillian. Also on YouTube, but that's just kind of where I house things. And then on Instagram, again, Sports and Shenanigans. I cover NWSL, WNBA. I try to get out information that people in the world of women's sports want to consume.
Yeah.
So whether it be going to media days for NWSL or the All Star game for volleyball, pro volleyball. I try to bring content to my followers and network and listeners, and it's all in the name of elevating women's sports. So, and then you can follow my personal page if you want. It's Miss Jillian Ann. And yeah, if you are into NWSL. I cover a lot of the games. I do every single KC Current game, and that is local coverage. But you could find it on our app. It's on the KC Current app. You can find it online as well. So
Yes, like, subscribe, share, all those things. As I always say, and yeah, you will. It's a great, always great content since I've been following you. So
um,
I'm so glad that we networked and got to do this together. So I really appreciate it, Jillian. And thanks again, and enjoy the rest of the season. Hopefully, we can do this again.
yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and keep doing what you're doing. It's great stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate that as well. All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of the evening and this week, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks.